Oh God, I mean, we went through some very traumatic events.
This incredible stuff was happening in my career. And at the same time, he was going through the trial. It was a lot of stuff to deal
Know who I am. This is what it is.
Diddy and Jennifer Lopez had a very public relationship, and it wasn't the healthiest one around. After years of rumors, J.Lo is now disclosing her terrible relationship with P. Diddy. Lopez has also explained why she hated Diddy so much and how she came to the decision to shut him out of her life. And it has everything to do with Diddy's appetite for men.
I got caught up in the hype a little bit. You know, Jennifer, she's definitely a bad chick.
It appears that Diddy abandoned her quite devastated after their brief romance. She said that she would let them both drown when asked whom she would let drown, Ben Affleck or Diddy.
You look in the ocean, you see Ben Affleck, and you see Diddy.
Jennifer had remained silent about the high-profile romance all this time, but she's finally talking about it. And it's just as horrible as we thought. She claims that it was the first relationship she had in which she continuously worried that her spouse was being unfaithful. Sean Combs and Jennifer Lopez had a brief relationship that lasted around 18 months, but it turned out to be one of the most challenging periods in her life. Jennifer has now given us a glimpse into the reality of her relationship with Diddy and how she was ultimately able to leave it. It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in this relationship with Puff where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin. Because of how awful things had gotten, she couldn't stop looking for Diddy for fear of catching him cheating. Being so certain that the person you love might be lying to you at any moment must have been intolerable, especially if you suspect your man is sleeping around with other men. Jennifer discussed this challenging period in her life and recalled having to go banging on hotel room doors in search of him. I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen. I never caught him, but I just knew. He'd say he was going to a club for a couple of hours and then never come back that night. And Lopez experienced a profound insight as a result. She didn't want to commit to a partner who was so untrustworthy. I had to think, do I want to be home with kids in 10 years wondering where somebody is at 3 in the morning? This insight played a significant role in her ability to recognize her connection for what it truly was, a toxic dependency that would only worsen her situation. Another occurrence made the separation inevitable to the last detail. Diddy got into a confrontation with a bar customer one day while Lopez and Diddy were out partying. Security attempted to separate the two and break up the argument, but right away, shots were fired. There were 3 injuries.
According to court documents, Combs traded insults inside the club with a man named Scar. The man allegedly threw money in Puffy's face. Suddenly, a fight broke out and gunshots were fired.
2 guys were shot in the shoulders, while a woman was shot in the face. Just after leaving the club, Diddy dramatically led Jennifer by the hand behind him.
At the end of the day, I think he was not fleeing a crime scene. I think he believed that he was fleeing for his life.
When the police quickly stopped the Mercedes Diddy was driving, they discovered a revolver on the car seat close to Jennifer's feet. They were both taken into custody for having prohibited weapons. J.Lo spent 14 hours in the police station shackled on a bench. The policeman who was on duty said Jennifer was a complete mess.
Obviously, nobody really wants to be arrested. It's a really traumatic experience.
She was crying all over the place. She was just upset about the whole thing. Luckily, there was no proof against her, so she was freed after 14 hours. Yet that was enough to thoroughly traumatize her after the event. Nonetheless, Diddy had to spend a few days behind bars. The pair was thrust into the public eye in a completely new way as a result of this tragedy. Both of them buckled under the pressure, and Jennifer was thrust into a predicament she had little to do with. They were constantly being pursued by the media, and to make matters worse, their seemingly ideal relationship was beginning to fall apart. Jennifer loved Diddy, but he never reciprocated her feelings in the same way. In actuality, Diddy remained in love with his ex, Kim Porter, throughout their union and was also rumored to be sleeping with other men in the music industry.
A little bit, you know, Jennifer, she's definitely a bad chick, but I was still in love with Kim, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't marry Jennifer, but I was still in love with Kim.
Diddy eventually understood that his affection for Kim never went away, even if he had left Kim for Jennifer. After all this, Jennifer concluded that ending the relationship was the best course of action. When Jennifer finally ended their relationship for real, he didn't even believe her because the two had developed such unhealthy routines and had broken up so frequently. In order to stop harboring resentment toward this toxic connection, Jennifer had to eventually be able to remove herself from it. She claims that Puffy is aware of her affection and concern for him.
I'm just Big joking. Boy TV,
Ben,
she's serious.
Puffy, you know I love you. You know that.
Before, one of Hollywood's most adored couples was Jennifer and Diddy. They were a stylish couple who attracted attention everywhere they went. They appeared to be madly in love with one another for a while. It appeared as though they were meant to be together.
You know, she's one of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm a pretty nice guy myself.
Jennifer believed that Diddy was the only person who truly understood her. He knew what it meant to be renowned and always in the media because he, too, was a celebrity like her. They clicked right away and felt like they were meant to be together.
Developed this bond, and we both knew nobody else understood exactly how we felt.
Diddy initially met Jennifer while he was with Kim, but he was instantly captivated by her. In actuality, they fell in love at first sight. He could not bear to be without Jennifer, and she was similarly enamored with him.
I was ambitious, she was ambitious. I was a workaholic, she was a workaholic. I had to have self-control.
However, this romance ended abruptly after only 18 months, leaving the two of them deeply hurt. Even though Diddy thought they should try again, Jennifer dissolved the relationship. To make amends with Jennifer, he even sent her hundreds of doves as a gift.
And they released like hundreds of doves, white doves.
Oh my God, I can't breathe.
Right, and I was like,
Oh my God. Did it work? Did you go back with him?
no.
The act demonstrated that Diddy loved Jennifer as a person and understood the significant impact she had on his life, even though it did not succeed in getting Jennifer back. Although Jennifer is aware of how damaging and unhelpful that period of her life was for her, even now, she still manages to draw some valuable lessons from it. To be able to forgive someone for adultery requires a lot of self-work. Given that Diddy was perpetually in love with someone else, Jennifer had it even worse. She discussed this during an interview. The Puffy era was just kind of a crazy, heightened time in my life. You know, Puffy and I both grew up in the Bronx. He had been in the music business and had all this success. I was just starting and making my first album when I met him. He became kind of a mentor to me at that moment. We had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship that ended in a bang. Despite the relationship being painful for Jennifer, she managed to recover and improve greatly. It was definitely a moment, but I felt like it was necessary. He was meant to be in my life at that moment to teach me what I needed to know about the music business, about what kind of artist I wanted to be in the music industry. Jennifer did all in her power to make this relationship work, but when Diddy hauled her along with him to the police station, the mental haze began to clear. Now that she could see, the only sensible course of action was to end this toxic and dangerous relationship and move on. Fortunately, she was able to accomplish that. The fact that Jennifer was able to recognize reality and break free from the exhausting relationship has thrilled her fans. One admirer wrote, "I remember when Jennifer Lopez was dating Diddy, she was Jenny from the block. After that shooting incident, the block got too hot and she went back to being Jennifer Lopez. Some think that although they were never close to being the ideal marriage, they presented themselves as such. The shooting incident was the final straw that caused the illusion of the ideal partnership to crumble." One admirer wrote, "They seemed so cool, and then the nightclub shooting and learning more about behind-the-scenes stuff at Bad Boy Records, and now I wonder what the depths of the dirt on Diddy is." That's all for today, everyone. Goodbye, till next time.